children, how are you? Today we are going to learn more about the food. Before we start our next topic, we will discuss about what we have learned in the last video or in the last session. Okay, in our last session we have studied about different type of animals or different group of animals on the basis of their eating habits. We have studied about on the basis of their eating habits, means the particular food, what do they eat. The animals are divided into four major groups, four basic groups or four major groups in an ecosystem. Okay, in the food chain is nothing but the interdependence of the animals on each other for the need of their food. So when we will consider about the food chain, there are four major group of animals on the basis of their eating habits, and these were herbivores, carnivores, omnivores and scavengers. Okay, these were the four major group of animals that we studied on the basis of their eating habits in an ecosystem. Okay, the food chain depends upon in the food chain, the different animals depends on each other for the need of their food, and that makes an ecosystem. So we will just take a small recap about what are these animals called. So let's start with the herbivores or herbivorous animals. Okay, we have studied that herbivorous animals are the animals or the group of animals that eat the plants, grass or green leaves. Okay, the animals that eat the plants or grass or green leaves, that animals are called herbivore or herbivorous animals. Next one, we have studied about carnivorous animals. Carnivores are the animals that eat or hunt the other animals and eat their flesh or meat. Okay, the hunting animals are called carnivores. Okay, so here the animal that hunt, okay, that animals comes in the category of predators. Okay, the animals that hunts, okay, that animals are called predators, and the animals that are hunted by the predators are called the prey. Okay, for example, when we will take the example of the frog and the snake in the food chain. So frog will be the prey, okay, that is hunted by the predator, a snake. Okay, and these two makes the group of carnivorous animals. Okay, the animals that hunt other animals and eat the flesh or meat of that animals are called carnivorous animals. Next group we have learned about omnivores. Omnivores are the animals that eat both meat also or flesh also and plants or green leaves also. Okay, the animals that eat both flesh as well as plants are called the omnivores animals. And last but not the least, we have studied about the group of animals called scavengers. Okay, scavengers are one of the big group of animals that help to keep the environment clean. Okay, because they eat the dead and decaying matter or leftover matter by the carnivores. Okay, so after hunting and eating whatever remained is there, whatever remaining part of that hunted prey is there, that is eaten by the scavengers. So scavengers are the group of animals that eat dead and decaying matter, and in this way they help to keep the environment clean. So this is all about that we have learned about the major group of animals on the basis of their eating habits. And we have already discussed that nature provides food to everyone. Everyone we have studied, right? Either it is a animal or it is a insect or it is a bird. In our last to last video we have studied about that nature provides food to everyone. So plants are also living things, right? We know that plants are also living things, but the question is that how do they get the food in the environment or in the nature? So today we will discuss about how the plants make their food or how the plants get their food in nature. Okay, so here in this video we are going to discuss about the food of plants. Okay, the food for plants or the food of plants. So today we will discuss about how the plants get their food in nature. Okay, so let's start. As we know, plants are also living things, right? And need food, right? But they cannot move from place to place in search of food, as we have studied in our last video. Okay, nature provides food to everyone. The only need is that we have to search for it. But when we take the example of plants cannot move from place to place in search of food. Then the question arises, from where do they get the food? From where do the plants get their food? So the answer for this is actually the plants make their own food. Okay, how the plants make their own food, we will discuss. As we already discussed, nature provides food to everyone. The only need is that we have to search for it, that we have already discussed now. But when we take the example of plants, as we know, they cannot move, but the plants too need the food. Then from where do you think they get their food? So let's discuss about how the plants make their food in the nature. And the method by which the plants make their own food is called the process of photosynthesis. Okay, the method of making the food by the plants, that method or that process is called photosynthesis. photo synthesis, synthesis. Together it makes photosynthesis. Actually when we read this word, it is made up of two words. Okay, one is photo and another is synthesis. Okay, photosynthesis is a combined word. So we will discuss about what is mean by photo and what is mean by synthesis. Photo, already we know, it is light. What is the meaning of photo? Light or sunlight also we can say that, the light that we get from the sun. So photo means light and synthesis means putting together. So what we put light and what we put together, light and what we put together, we will discuss in this method of making the food by the plants through the method of photosynthesis. Okay, so when we will discuss about the method of photosynthesis, so students, you have to learn this concept. Okay, photosynthesis means the food making process of plants. Plants make their own food. That method is called photosynthesis. Okay, so we will discuss about what are the factors that are needed by the plants to make their own food. As we cook the food in our houses or in our kitchen, we require fire, we require the ingredients, whatever is necessary for making that particular food item. So similarly, plants also require certain food items. Okay, plants also require certain food items for making their own food. So let's discuss what do the plants require. Okay, so here we can see the factors or the things that are necessary for photosynthesis by the plants are the number one and the most important is sunlight, because without sunlight the plants cannot make their own food. Second one is the supply of water. Third one is the intake of air, and fourth one is the absorption of the soil nutrients from the roots. Okay, so we will discuss it one by one. These four factors are necessary for performing the process of photosynthesis. Okay, so in the presence of sunlight, by taking the water, air and nutrient from the soil, the plants make their own food in their leaves. Where do the plant make the food? In their leaves. And do you know, student, why the color of leaves is green? Because while performing the photosynthesis, the leaves are the only kitchen, okay, food making factories for the plants. Okay, whatever food is going to make by the plants, they make in their leaves only. And particular in the leaves, why the color of leaves is green? Always, mostly the leaves of the trees are green due to the presence of chloroplast. Due to the presence of chloroplast. Okay, chlorophyll is the green pigment present in the chloroplast, and that's why the color of the leaves of the plants are green. Okay, due to the presence of chlorophyll, the plants has the green leaves. Okay, so and leaves are the only food making factories for the plants. So we will discuss how the plants make their food in the presence of sunlight. Okay, here you can see the roots. Okay, roots are present underground. So what function the root performs while performing the process of photosynthesis? What is the function of the root? The roots of the plants absorbs the water and minerals from the soil. Whatever the soil minerals are there in the form of soil nutrients or soil minerals, that are absorbed by the roots, okay, and get supplied to the other parts of the plants. Okay, so the root performs very much important role for photosynthesis, as they absorbs the water and minerals from the soil, and later on this water reaches to the leaves of the plants. Okay, and here when the absorption of water and minerals is done by the leaves, you can see here the structure of a leaves. And why the color of the leaf is green? Due to the presence of chloroplast or chlorophyll in it, and that chloroplast color is green, that's why the leaves color is green. We can see the small openings on the leaves. Okay, you can see, and that small openings on the leaves are called stomata. What they are called? Stomata. So let's discuss how these small openings helps in performing the process of photosynthesis. So there are many tiny pores or openings on the leaves called stomata. What is stomata? The small or tiny openings present on the leaves, okay, are called stomata. They are so tiny that we cannot see them with our naked eyes. Okay, what is the main function of this stomata? How these help for process of photosynthesis? It absorbs the air, okay, through these pores. Okay, the air enters to the leaves through these pores, and it get mixed with the water and the minerals and makes the food for the plant. So here, thus air and water comes together in the leaves. In the presence of sunlight, plants make their own food using the water and air in the leaves. Okay, in the presence of sunlight, by using the air, especially what do they use? By using the air and water, the plant make their own food in leaves, that is in the chlorophyll of the leaves. A plant food is made in its leaves, hence the leaves are called food factory for the plants due to the presence of that chlorophyll. Okay, in chlorophyll of the leaves, the plants make their food by using water, air, and in the presence of sunlight. Okay, thus the sunlight is very necessary, right, for this process of photosynthesis to make their own food. Always we should remember the sunlight is very necessary for this process of making the food by the plants. Okay, so in short, photosynthesis is putting the air and water and minerals together in the presence of sunlight for making the food for the plants. So here in this way we have studied about The plants make their own food by using the air and the water in the presence of sunlight. That's why we always used to keep the plant in the sun so that they can continue making their own food. Understand? So here we have studied about how the plants make their own food and how the plants get their food in nature. Okay, so now I hope you understand the process of photosynthesis, because I am going to ask you or write you the questions on the method of photosynthesis with the picture. Okay, so later on, after discussing the method of photosynthesis or after discussing the food making method of the plants, we will go through the differences that we have learned. We come to know some differences between the animals and the plants after studying the method of this photosynthesis, right? So we will discuss about which differences we have studied about the animals and plants in this lesson. So here the differences between the plants and animals. So plants and animals, as we know, both are living things. As we know, plants and animals both are the living things. Okay, the difference that we already know is the plants and animals both are the living things. So now what are the differences between them? Plants prepare their own food with the help of sunlight by the method of photosynthesis, right? Plants absorb water and minerals from the roots and take the air through the stomata or pores on the leaves. And third one, plants cannot move. These all are the properties of the plants that we have learned through this lesson. About animals, animals wander from place to find food in nature. Yes, in our previous video we have discussed about the animals wander from place to place in search of their food, right? Some animals eat grass and some animals eat the flesh of other animals, and that group is called carnivores. We have already discussed. Animals can move by their own. As we have studied, plants cannot move by their own. That's why they make their own food in the presence of sunlight by using the water and air through the method of photosynthesis. But the animals can easily move from place to place in search of their food. Okay, so that's why the plants are called autotrophs in an ecosystem. Autotrophs means the things or the what do we say? Plants make their own food, that's why they are called autotrophs. And the animals who depend on others for the need of their food, that's why the animals are called heterotrophs. So more information about the autotrophs and heterotrophs I have given you. So autotrophs means who make their own food like plants. Heterotrophs means who depends on others for their need of food like animals. Okay, so plants are called autotrophs and animals are called heterotrophs. So here we will stop, and in this way we have finished our lesson, that was our need for food. Hope you all have understood the lesson very briefly. And I hope you will learn all these differences and what is the method of photosynthesis, how the plants make their own food, and what are the requirements for making the food by the plants. Okay, and how every living being get their food in nature. All these concepts we have already discussed in our this lesson. Okay. So till then I wish you all the best. Be safe, enjoy your work, okay, and do your duties. Take care of yourself and your family. Bye.